The Champions League group stage will never be the same. Of course, next season starts a completely new format, something I'm somewhat warming up to, but the tradition of the Champions League is precious to me. I think a lot of fans feel the same, and it's sort of cool. You think about Arsenal will always be sitting top of that group. It was a great way to finish. Arsenal certainly played well in all those games, and just kind of cool to think about that. They'll always be sitting there. You can always look back at that and think, geez, first year back after so many years, topped the group, and moved on to a new format. Same competition, but modern football, lots of things are changing. Sometimes not for the better, but I'm somewhat warming up to this change. But we'll see. Obviously, next season what it will hold. Let's just get right into the game. A little bit of a recap. I want to talk a lot about Reiss Nelson. I thought he was fantastic when he was playing. This whole year when he's come on, he's shown a lot of energy, a lot of, I think, determination, really, to be one of those players left from the academy. Excuse me. When you look at, obviously Bukayo Saka is one of the many faces of Arsenal. Extremely popular player, a talented individual, world-class player. Emile Smith-Rowe obviously has had his injury problems this last year. Making it back, had a pretty decent cameo, I think, on Tuesday. That's really exciting to have Emile Smith-Rowe back. But when you look at Reiss Nelson, all the players who have looked very promising from the academy, and just haven't made it, or hasn't worked out, at least for Arsenal. Look at players like Joe Willock, he's finding success there at Newcastle, but Reiss Nelson, he's stuck around, he's done the loan spells. The managers trusted him enough to give him minutes in the Champions League, and I think at the end of the day, he loves this club, and I think he's willing to stick around and fight for it. And a lot of people shouting out for a new winger, for someone to cover for Saka, who is endlessly getting the shit kicked out of him by defensive players. Why not Reiss Nelson? Why not give him that opportunity, at least for now, to show what he can do, to show his worth? He showed us last season how clutch he can be with that, fantastic goal against Bournemouth. So why not give Reiss Nelson that opportunity? Again, like I said, he's look energetic. He's putting the work in. His work rate looks good. He's not lazy. He's sprinting. He's defending. He's doing everything he's being asked to do, and then some. So for me, Reiss Nelson, prime candidate for at least for now, covering for Bukayo Saka. If not for Martinelli, we know he's quite a versatile player. Can play on the right, can play on the left, Reiss Nelson. So why not give him an opportunity on Sunday? We don't know the extent of Saka's injury, I'll say. We know we saw him coming off on Tuesday during the warm-ups. Obviously, he didn't feature, so interesting to see what will come of that. I assume he's just going to start on Sunday against Brighton, but why not? Hopefully, if we can get a lead against that team. They're a very, very tricky team, Brighton. Obviously, they've smoked us, put us on the grill a couple times over the last couple of years. So, yeah, it'll be a tricky game, never easy, Brighton, but I would like to see Reiss Nelson get some minutes. I spoke a little bit about Emile Smith-Rowe. It's great to see him coming back. Finally, another injury that he's suffering from. Such a brilliant player. You think about the Smith-Rowe we saw 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Really, really quick. I can never help. To think the praise that Jamie Carragher, such an experienced veteran of football, gave Emile Smith-Rowe a couple of years ago about how he's the quickest player with the ball at his feet in the Premier League. That was like his breakout season, and it's. I don't want to say it's a shame what's happened, because he's just been unlucky. He hasn't been able to get into the team. He's had some injuries. We don't know exactly what's going on to the full extent in that back room with the manager. But look, all you can do is trust Arteta. He said that he's still in his plans. He's obviously given him minutes when he's available. Of course, you have to remember he hasn't been available through injury. So Smith-Rowe coming back. Thomas Partey is in the gym again, and maybe Timber also on the come up soon. Maybe February, January, probably too soon for that. But it would be brilliant to have those three guys back. We know Thomas Partey, the quality he's got. I've sent a tweet out before about selling him in January. It doesn't really make sense. I mean, the rationale is, how long before he gets injured again? Is he going to play 4, 5, 6 games and then be out another, 4 months? the season's going to be over by then. So, it's frustrating when you have a player of that quality who just raises the level of your any team. Alongside of Rice and Thomas Partey, it's torture not being able to see these guys play together enough. So yeah, frustrating. But we'll see what happens with that. So let's just sort of sum it up here. Round of 16 draw is on Monday. Let's see a lot of people taking, sort of slating a lot of the teams in the Champions League, the round of 16. Actually, a lot of players teams who aren't even in it. Seeing some United fans and Chelsea fans and for some reason Tottenham fans talking about the Champions League. It's football is always changing. You're gonna have teams like look what Copenhagen did to Man United. Of course, Man United not the team in the best of forms, but Porto, a historical club in the Champions League. Inter, sure, Napoli as well. PSG are a potential team for us to draw as well. So yeah, it's going to be tricky, but I've always said this. It's important to get out of the group stage. Obviously, we did that quite easily. One loss against Lens, and every other game I think was pretty comfortable, with the exception of this last game. A 1-1 draw. We had qualified already. Of course, you want to be top, but it was going to be pretty difficult to come second place. Let's be honest. So, look, PSG is there, and whoever you get, like I said, I'm sort of ranting here, but I want to have progression, get past the round of 16, get into, I can't remember the last time Arsenal were in a quarterfinal, let alone a semifinal. I'll take the heartbreak, but you get these players the experience they need. They're young players. You got a young manager. It's almost a cop-out to call him a young manager now. He's got experience. He's 5 years at Arsenal. So it's not an excuse. It's not anything like that. But I'm just saying these players need experience. They need quarterfinal, Champions League experience, knockout stage experience. The FA Cup, it's not close. The Premier League is a different beast. So it's important to do that. So whatever team we get, I expect us to win, at least in this round. The teams are not as strong. We know the round of 16 in knockout football is a different beast, but still, I want to see progression in this team, a growth, a maturity to go out, whoever we face, put the strongest side out there. The goalkeeper, put David Raya to go, who doesn't matter. Just get a win, get away with it, whatever you got to do. Advance to the next round, get some experience under the belt of these players. Even the manager, I think you can argue that needs some Champions League experience. So yeah, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be interesting. Monday, again, we'll see what team we get. And just lastly, before I go, no charge for Mikel Arteta from the FA, which honestly I was pretty shocked by. Not because I think he did anything wrong, but because it just seems very unlike the FA, where they usually just cop out and just, if you say anything bad against them, referees, a player, any sort of dissent. Honestly, being honest will get you into trouble. So I was pretty shocked by that. There's a whole conspiracy theory about Arteta. They're holding off to ban him for the trip to Liverpool. So I'm glad that didn't happen. Obviously, missing Arteta on the sideline against Villa, I think, hurt us. So important to have that lunatic on the side of the pitch there, yelling out his command. So I sort of ranted. This wasn't a really great video, to be honest. I put it off for days and days and days. I'm just at work right now. So thank you very much for watching, guys. If you made it this far, I do really appreciate it. And I'll see you when I see you.